Hollow Knight is right up there as one of the most important and amazing things to happen to the indie gaming scene in the 21st century. Some might even compare Hollow Knight to Jesus Christ. It is no wonder then with Silksong coming out, it's basically the second coming of Jesus. And if you've never been to this channel before, which by the way is the worst place on YouTube because of which you should definitely subscribe, Hollow Knight is my favorite game ever. I loved the game to death. The saddest day of my life was when I beat the game, knowing that I will never be able to experience the exploration aspect of Hollow Knight for the first time all over again. I'm so jealous of you assholes who get to play this game for the first time, god damn it. But Hollow Knight has one major flaw, like a really big problem, and Silksong needs to avoid that problem at all costs. Hollow Knight has god-awful pacing at the start of the game. Now before you fucking raise your pitchforks up and slice my head off, raise it up on a pike, the sacrifice to Team Cherry that you've been waiting for, calm down. First of all, if you're looking for validation in this opinion, our god and savior Mossbag himself said so in one of his videos. And I'm not talking about bad pacing for you and me, we are Metroidvania fans. Metroidvania is usually a genre that requires a lot of patience from video gamers, patience that people usually lack, especially in this day and age. But I'm talking about a general gaming audience. Generally speaking, Hollow Knight has god-awful pacing at the very starting area of the game, which is the Forgotten Crossroad. It turns a lot of people off at the start of the game and they never try the game again. In fact, what got me thinking about this whole thing was I was watching the video Charlie made, Moist Critical, probably one of the biggest channels on YouTube today. He made a video summarizing his whole let's play of Hollow Knight and I was just reading through the comments, watching the video, really entertaining stuff. And if you don't know, Charlie actually picked up the game way before, played it for a little bit, did not like it and let it go, and then came back to it later and titled his video Hollow Knight is a masterpiece. And one of the comments in the video was this: "It's actually crazy how often this exact scenario happens with this game. I bought it on a sale, played it for 45 minutes, got bored, and didn't touch it for like 8 months. Came back, and then it became my favorite game of all time." Absolutely based 100% take, and I can guarantee and vouch for it. You know why? Because it happened to me as well. I bought Hollow Knight for the very first time in 2018, and I played it for a little bit, and I didn't really get into it too much. I remember finding the tram station and coming across False Night as well, but then I just really wasn't too into it and I forgot about the game. Fast forward to a whole year later in 2019, late 2019, I downloaded the game again, gave it another shot, and absolutely fell in love with it. It just clicked. But I didn't start a new game, I just continued off where I left off, and the game just absolutely clicked and became the biggest game in my life. That is a sentiment that a lot of people share. Let's go through some of these replies. Yeah, I really wonder why. I got the game back in 2019, played it for around 2 hours, and then kind of fell off. Came back around a month ago, and it's one of my favorite games of all time. Got to 111% already. Yup, for me it was the map. I was foolish enough to think that I can easily navigate without really relying on it. On my second try, once I understood the map is vital for understanding the game's progression, everything became much more enjoyable because I knew at least 2 to 4 paths where to explore to actually make progress. Yeah, same. I played for a while, got bored because I didn't know what to do, saw a video about it and returned. The start is kinda slow progression wise, you don't get the cool stuff until later, so I think that plays a good part of why people don't get invested early in Hollow Knight. You can't stop playing it after a while though. Played for 3 hours, got bored. Now to summarize my whole point about this, basically Hollow Knight has a very slow start. And if you're not into the whole slow atmosphere where nothing really happens for a while and just wandering around aimlessly till you find something to do, it's not gonna be the game for you because A, the game already doesn't hold your hand, which is not a point I'm advocating for. The game should absolutely not hold your hand or tell you what to do. That's completely fine. But on top of that, not much really happens. Your character moves really slow. You don't really have any abilities. You're just kind of wandering around aimlessly. And yeah, the map shows where the boss is if you buy it from Cornifer, and Cornifer is pretty easy to find, but you'll be surprised how many people miss out on where that's exactly leading to. Not because they're stupid and they don't see the big giant face in the middle of the map, but because they really can't comprehend where they are in relation to the map as well. That combined with having no abilities and the game having just a generally slow and cryptic start turns a lot of people off. Which makes sense, guys. When Hollow Knight came out, it was a very niche game. If you take your brains back all the way to 2017, Metroidvania was pretty much dead. The big YouTube channel Game Maker's Toolkit also makes a very good point about this in his Hollow Knight Boss Keys videos, where basically he says how Hollow Knight pretty much revived the Metroidvania genre When Hollow Knight came out, that genre was slipping into a weird niche where not many people knew about it or enjoyed those kind of games. Now it's the biggest thing in the world. And that's the reason that I feel like Silksong really needs to fix this problem, because unlike Hollow Knight, Silksong is not the niche, it's the fucking juggernaut when it comes to indie gaming. It's so big in fact that the game is not even being showcased in any indie showcases. It gets showcased with the big boys, like it did with the Xbox showcase in June 2022. Silksong is huge, a lot of people are going to be playing it, and I feel like if Silksong also has this issue, it'll turn a lot of gamers off and a lot of people will shit talk Team Cherry, and the game will get a lot of bad PR because a lot of people just don't give it a chance. And it's gonna be chucked up into one of those memes where it's like, guys, trust me, the game gets good. 10 hours into the game, it gets really good, I swear to god. And I really don't want that to happen to Silksong. Another trap that some games fall into, which by the way doesn't apply to Hollow Knight but to a lot of games, is lore dumping. Saw this really good tweet today. Game devs, do not front load your game with exposition and dialogue. I need to play your game first to see if I even like it. Before it happens, I don't give a single fuck about the story and any of the characters. Give me the game first and sell me on the story later. Relia replied to this tweet, which is such a good reply. I feel this so much. I will skip so much dialogue early in the game just because I am not sure if I will care or not. Good gameplay is where things start. Don't think I've ever continued to play a bad game just for the story, but I will play a game if with no story for a great gameplay. 100%. So many video games I have played just because of the gameplay, because the gameplay is banger and I couldn't give a fucking rat's arse about the story. A big game that falls into this pitfall is Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I played that game on my channel for a video and Jesus Christ, I remember saying in the video, I'm like, okay, when does the game start? Because the game has like 20 minutes of fucking cutscenes and exposition before you even get to play the game, and I'm like, I get it, you're having this really emotional moment right now. I kinda don't give a hoot and I wanna jump into the game and make a feel for it for myself. Thankfully, Hollow Knight avoids that. It does have some cutscenes at the start, but they're very skippable and you just jump straight into the game. But even then, I feel like Silksong should perfect this, and Silksong should take some notes from another cryptic series, which by the way is very much like Metroidvania, very much cryptic, doesn't spoon feed you anything, very difficult, the Dark Souls series. Dark Souls series is notorious for doing one really cool trope where when the game starts, immediately you're hit in the face with a bullshit boss that you're supposed to die to. And when you die to it, you wake up in a tutorial area. Elden Ring does it, Dark Souls does it, and it's so fucking effective. Bloodborne does it as well, where you die to this weird wolf guy and then you wake up in the dream world. I'm not saying Silksong should rip Dark Souls off, but all I'm saying is a strong start to a game can really help pull a lot of gamers in. For example, how Subnautica starts with you leaving the ship, like the Aurora, which is this giant spaceship. It's like exploding in the atmosphere. You get into an escape pod, you flee the scene, you crash into a planet, and the game starts.
Attention. Hull failure imminent. All personnel abandon ship. Launch in 3, 2, 1.
You can have your ambience, you can have your slow moments, you can have your weird cryptic storytelling, difficult gameplay, all of that, but you can also have an exciting start. To say that there's no way for a game like Hollow Knight to accomplish it is just not true in my opinion. I understand Hollow Knight is very holy to a lot of people, but the game is still pretty much open to criticism like any other game. And this is just my feedback on Silksong and what it needs to really avoid in order to draw a lot of new players in. Because as an indie developer, as Team Cherry, at the end of the day, you want your game to be successful. You want a lot of people to like your game. Guys, you as some crazy Silksong fans might gatekeep Silksong. A very loud vocal minority might want Silksong to be super slow and cryptic at the start, but I'm sorry to tell you, that's not what the devs would want. The devs would want their game to thrive and be successful and pull in more new audiences to their game. What do you guys think about this, and how would you solve this problem with Hollow Knight? If you could redesign the start of Hollow Knight, what would you change about it? Would you give the knight some crazy power up at the start? Would you start the game with a boss fight? Would you change how the map works, where you can always see your location on the map regardless, so even when you see the big boss face on the map, you know how to get to it? What will you change about Hollow Knight? I would love to hear your opinion down in the comments. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subs, so any support will be really appreciated. That's it for me today. Primacon signing out.